One of the most dangerous misunderstandings of the Bible is that it speaks with one voice. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. So the Bible was written over thousands of years by many different authors because, of course, people don't live thousands of years. And because of that amount of time even, clearly it's written to lots of different cultures as culture developed. And it's also written to lots of different places, like people who were living in places that are vastly different. And not only that, many of the authors weren't even thinking that they were writing for the ages. Oftentimes they were writing to a very specific culture, sometimes to a very specific community, like a very small number of people in like a specific church group or small group that was formed. And to think of the Bible speaking with one voice to all people of all times really gets you in trouble. Like, for example, in 1 Corinthians 14, there's this moment where Paul, the writer of 1 Corinthians, is addressing an issue, like a tiny issue in a very specific, tiny community. And he goes into saying, like, don't let the women speak. And he's addressing a specific issue because other places, Paul says that women are key leaders in the movement of Christianity. And so it seems to contradict if you're looking for a single voice over all the Bible, but it's not. It's something called univocal. It's not univocal. So in that case, you can't even say that the writer of 1 Corinthians is contradicting other things because the Bible doesn't speak with one voice. It's multiple voices focused on multiple people in multiple places over thousands of years. So the Bible is between 66 and 88 unique individual books that need to be taken on their own terms, and their authors need to be read in their own voices and focused in their own time. So this doesn't actually mess up the truth of the Bible or the validity of its claims, to use the evangelical terminology. It actually helps reveal the deep spiritual truth. That's because any attempt to make the Bible univocal means that you have to impose an outside framework on the Bible to pick and choose which verses to highlight and which verses to ignore. And when people do that, they, wait for it, choose the verses that agree with them and reinforce their own power. But when you take each book and passage on its own terms, it's easier to understand what it's saying. It's easier to kind of get a sense of what's going on in that specific place. What is the writer trying to say to the specific people? And then you can hear the underlying truths that were being delivered to those original hearers, the original audience. And that's helpful because at that point, it's easier to sort of abstract away the biblical culture to understand the message and to receive the sort of spiritual truths that have been leading people into deeper encounters with the divine for millennia. And that's why it matters. That's how fundamentalists have gotten it so very wrong, because they're trying to find this single voice, and it just doesn't exist.